talk will be, where do we go from here? You have an idea. You made a little mind map over there. I see some of them, and maybe you can tell us about them today. I think it'd be good if you explain them to us, your mind map. But you know, a lot of times you get kind of, I have an idea, but where do I start, right? And mostly it comes down to asking questions. I think even all the UX design reading that you read, it's more about asking questions and finding answers to those questions. So let's look at some questions that we might ask, and then let's look at theme first. I wanted to show you the color chart that I have today first. And so if we go down here to the theme concept here, and let's open up the theme concept here. So one of the things I want you to think about kind of early on in your project would be, possibly what am I trying to express? And here is a color emotional guide that we can see here from the companies. And so think about some of these companies that we interact with pretty much almost all the time, and sort of what their theme is, or their color emotional guide here, right? So first of all, as you're thinking about your project, what am I trying to express through my design? Of course, the first one here is optimism, which would be a warm or yellowish, kind of orangish, I would say. I guess, it's kind of a rainbow, as you can see here, kind of a rainbow thing. Of course, you have some companies that are multicolor, like NBC and their peacock, Google with their different color letters, and of course, Microsoft and eBay. And so we kind of understand that, you can have a multicolor, but the challenge of that is, how do I integrate this all into a design if I do have a multicolor logo? And I know these are all logos, but whatever you're designing can follow this kind of chart, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Again, optimism, yellowish, Best Buy is a common one there, Sprint, and so on, and of course our favorite, McDonald's, and I haven't eaten McDonald's since 2003, so I don't know. Next, of course, we have friendly, the orange. Orange was very popular back in the early 2000s, and it's still kind of popular today. It's a nice color scheme that goes well with more of a up feeling, I would say. Cheerful, I guess, is the word that they're. Confident is the word they're using to describe that. So as you go through, and I'll show you some previous student proposals. We're going to look at those today, so you sort of get an idea of what you're supposed to be doing. But one of them in the proposal is, you should have a color theme that you're going to follow, and you should be writing down the reason why the color theme is this way. I want you to include as much detail as you can in your final proposal that includes your design thought process. And part of that thought process is this right here. What am I trying to express in my design, right? Am I, is it going to have an orange theme? Does that follow the cheerful, confident theme? Is it red, youthful, bold? I don't know about Coca-Cola. They've been around for what, 100 years, 150 years? I don't know how much youthful that is. But, of course, Target is getting rid of the word Target, right? They're not going to be Target anymore. They're just going to be the symbol. Even the stores are getting rid of the word Target. It's going to be this. Right? Everybody. Heinz. One of my biggest clients was Heinz. I did so much work for Heinz. Yes. I drew the race car one time back in the early 90s. They thought, hey, let's have a NASCAR. And so they bought a NASCAR with the Heinz logo on the side, and I drew that one time. I'll have to show you that. And I think I found the design. I got my slides out the other day. Purplish, I guess you could call creative. Imaginative wise, that's a difficult color to work with. Whoosh. Oh, I can't work with purple. And the other thing to think about when you're thinking of colors for your design is, of course, you need some accent colors or some tints to go along with that. What accent color goes with purple? It's very difficult. But, of course, some people get away with it. Taco Bell, they got what, this pinkish color that goes with it. Not a lot of contrasting colors go well with that. That's the problem with purple. Of course, blue, IBM blue. Right? There's a reason why blue is very popular. Is because it's a color that is used for trust, strength, dependable. The downfall is I think it's overused, right? It's the easiest solution for any design. Let's just make it blue. And so blue is probably the easiest to get away with. Where purple is hard. Orange is a little easier, I think, than red. Red is hard. Yellow's okay. And what I mean by that, again, is you're not just making everything blue or making everything yellow. It's just what is the theme of there? If you use these colors in your design, how is it being reflected in your concept? Of course, you have the green, which is quite popular. It's funny that the oil company, they like to use green, right? BP, but really they're probably drilling and killing more plants than anything else, not growing plants. I guess they make fertilizer probably out of the oil that they dig out of the ground, so maybe they are making things green. And you can see some symbols down here as well, right? Peace. Where'd the peace symbol come from? It's a nuclear symbol from England during protest times, and the anti-nuclear symbol from England. I just read that somewhere. And then, of course, the easiest probably to go along would be gray, right? Because if you make a gray design scheme, you can pretty much use any color for an accent and it would work. So, hey, and then blue and green, those are the easiest. Or not blue, I meant blue and gray, probably the easiest kind of themes to go with. You can pretty much do anything. So the first design proposal that we're going to look at is Wikipedia. You can see Wikipedia right here, right? And this is the Wikipedia logo. So we'll look at a former student's proposal. Now yours, I'm going to ask you to do a little bit more because I think you guys are, I've seasoned myself a little more, I think, since I've gone through this. And so I think that, when you see the proposals from previous students, I probably expect more from you than just that. And I'll try and explain that as we go along. But what I want is for you to write about this. I want you to write about your concept, your theme, even your color theme here. And we'll talk about color next week. We'll go into a little bit more detail about how to choose colors. Again, last week we talked about hexadecimal values right within our responsive design. What does that mean, right? The hexadecimal values. We'll talk about, saving colors and how to export out of software so that those colors can be used somewhere else. So think about color, though, in writing your proposal. And not necessarily just in, in a lot of proposals you'll see they'll have a color page, a color page for their design. Not just there. I would like to see some writing that and some research part of your proposal of, what kind of color theme you think your design should have and why. So maybe print this out and we'll put it on the wall. How about that? Should we color print this out and put it on the wall? No. I think this would be a good chart to put on the wall in the classroom. Maybe you guys can do it later for me, Jennifer. I'll put it on the desktop here. How about that? No, I just duplicate. I can't save. Where's desktop? There it is. It's on a desktop. Maybe we could squeeze it in some paper there. Okay, so here's a design idea from 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe. I think this is from 2015. Yeah. So, when I did this class for a couple of years now, and this is an example of kind of what I'm expecting you to do by the end of the semester. Similar, maybe a little different, in that you're coming up with a design proposal. I have a mind map of an idea. Where do I go, and how do I prepare that so that I can either sell it to a client, right? Because a lot of the reason why I would make a proposal is so that somebody comes to you and say, hey, can you redesign my website, or hey, can you make this app, or hey, can you do this, can you do that, right? You meet with them. We're going to talk about questions, what kind of questions to ask them. We're going to do that in a couple of minutes. But the purpose of making the proposal is so that you can clearly understand, the person can clearly understand what you think should be done, right? How is it written? It should be well written. Should answer questions. You will have samples of art. For me, you might not include, if this was for a client, include your concept things like your mind map. But for me, I want you to include your mind map. So take a picture of your mind map today so you include it in your proposal, right? But in certain proposals, you might not include that. So this student, Anna Nguyen, she was already a designer. So she was already, as far as the student in the class, she was working, I believe, if I think I remember right, I don't know if she was the one working in games. She was making games in Berkeley, or she might have been another student who was doing, she was basically working as a graphic designer somewhere, but of course she was just doing, basic graphic design. She wasn't doing UX design, and that's sort of why. So her proposal was pretty good because she already had some design experience and so on, but, it's a rather, I guess my whole point is it's a rather better proposal than I usually get because I think she had some experience already. She wrote an overview of why. So I'm going to want you to have an overview. And the reason why you have an overview is just to what is the concept and why are we doing this. Wikipedia is a web-based encyclopedia that provides free access to anyone with internet service. The content of Wikipedias are composed by unpaid anonymous writers and is open to registered users and add new content to anyone registered and unregistered to edit existing content. Since the website is initially launched in 2001, Wikipedia has nearly 35 million articles with more than 18 billion views, positioning it as one of the most popular websites today. So, I would like you to write an overview of why, what is the purpose of this website or purpose of this app. It should be answer the purpose. It doesn't necessarily have to say why I'm redesigning it. It just says what is it, right? This is what is it, not necessarily you're not writing this to say, hey, I'm gonna make this better. You're saying, hey, this is a website, and this website is used for. And you might even include people, who would use this website in this a little bit in your overview. Like she has 35 million articles, 18 billion views, right? There's a little bit of who's using it and why they're using it, right? So very straight to the point, simple kind of overview. And of course, including screen grabs of the existing site. And she included a problem statement. Since Wikipedia articles are being provided by various writers, having the website as open access to all has contributed to its lack of organization. Due to its immense amount of content, the website appears cluttered and is in need of structure. Okay, so now they start talking about, this is where you put your 2 cents into this. The overview was, hey, what is the project? This problem statement is including, why am I redesigning this? What are the issues you see? And so on. If it's something new, you can include that too. I mean, we talked about, I think you were doing the food one, right? You would write about, hey, there's no app out there that does this today. this is why it would be good to have that, right? You can include that in something here. What is the problem? Well, I'm not learning what the food is. Maybe she tells you about the problem. What is the food? Why am I reading this? So again, she writes a little bit about why redesign it, outdated layout of the homepage, and so on. So I want you to include a problem statement in your proposal. Then she talks a little bit about design. Why redesign this? How are we going to do this? Redesign will consist of providing an organized layout structure for the homepage and content pages, generating an overall modern feel by implementing flat design into existing elements while maintaining Wikipedia's sense of identity through typography and color scheme, highlighting Wikipedia's sister organization by Wikimedia Foundation to drive web traffic, organizing images from articles into slide scrolling galleries, creating an accordion-style menu feature for tables of contents that are easily accessible. So again, this proposal includes a solution section. This should be answering, kind of written down design ideas, I guess. I in previous classes I had them writing a lot more than I have you writing. So maybe we can do some of these next week. I can have you write and let me think about how to propose this to you. Maybe I'll find some reading that we can do. The next one is, of course, the questions. And this is the kind of questions I want you to think about today. Questions to consider before the redesign. These are kind of general. Why do you want to redesign your website? What is the purpose of your website? What do you like and dislike about your current website? Do you have brand guidelines that we need to stick to? Who is the target audience? Who are your demographics? What sets you apart from other internet encyclopedias? Which part of your website are most visited? How would you like your website to be portrayed in terms of presentation? What do you want your homepage? What do you want on your homepage? What is absolutely necessary for your website to have? What do you want to remain visible regardless of the page your users are on? And so on. So I do have some reading on this that I haven't linked up about what kind of questions you would ask a client. And I know some of you are coming up with new ideas, right? Hey, I'm developing a new app, or I'm developing a new site that's not even there. But you can still do research into similar sites or similar apps, right? Why, you can ask yourself, what is the design and is it working from a similar product? We'll say I like to use the word product when I describe designs as well. A website is a product. An app is a product. So I have some reading that you can do, and I will link it up this weekend for you. And I'll send you an email like I always do on a Saturday, so you can read. But I do want you to include questions in there. What kind of questions would I ask? I know this is geared towards specifically Wikipedia type of design, but these are basic questions that you might ask in a design meeting. And the reading I have is what to include in like a kickoff meeting. Hey, you're meeting the client for the first time. What are some of the questions that you should list and that you would go into the meeting with? Right? That's the reading I have. I have some that I didn't link up that I should for you. What to include, questions to include in a kickoff meeting. And then, of course, the other part that you should be doing right now in this design proposal, like even today, I think I told you I would like you to start taking some screen grabs of websites. I also have some reading of what's called competitive analysis Through competitive analysis of other web-based encyclopedias allow content to be updated by the public, the research revealed certain elements to consider and certain ones to avoid in the process of Wikipedia web design. The analysis was conducted on Everything 2, or better known as E2, and the Direct Universe Encyclopedia website. So again, they did some research, and it's kind of simple. I would rather have you write a little bit more. What I would like to see a little bit more might be what is working and what is not working on the sites. I think listing what you find good or what is working on a competitive site and what is not working on a competitive site, I think is probably a better way of doing it than just our tagline, web address, consideration. And they do somewhat, you know, this is, you know, well-organized menu. But I probably would like this student have written a little bit more about the competitiveness. Then another part of your proposal will be called the persona. The persona will be where you write down who's going to the site and why they would use it. I have a lot of reading on personas, so you'll see a lot of different ways that we do it. Mostly, you know, this one's quite simple. These are made-up people. These are not real people. But you are thinking about the user, who's going to use your site, and why they would use it. I have reading, and we'll do this in about 2 weeks from now. You'll have to write your personas, and I will show you some reading on that as well. And then, of course, I'm going to want you to sketch out your layout. It can be simple sketch. We have one from Jennifer here today. She would show it in sketch. Or did we delete it? Oh, there we go. Simple kind of line drawings like this of your ideas. She did it on the board. But I'm going to want you to at least plan on paper and pencil your concept. This is what, ItalianHealthy.com? Is that true? Or is that, oh, it's just made up? Okay, I like the wine glass under the title there. Okay. So I'm going to want you to include your design thoughts on paper. And more sketches. During brainstorming, the Wikipedia content page was initially decided on as a collapsing 3-column layout. For this setup, the 3-column will be from left to right, the tables of contents, image gallery, and a written article. So again, well thought out, you know, design concepts as well. And you can see the concepts clearly written on a piece of paper here. So I'm going to want you to think about that on paper. And then she did design wireframes in black and white. This would have been done in Illustrator or SketchUp or something like that. There's also wireframe software that you can use. The wireframe is just a black and white idea page. You know, the purpose of the wireframe is to quickly be able to show somebody where the placement of elements might be. You might not have those elements quite done yet. So it's not made to be a color comp. As you can see, she has these little boxes. These represent the logo. Look, it even says logo right there. You know, so I'm going to want you to do some plain kind of black and white wireframes. We can do them together in class. And then we had a font page that talks about the font and why we would use a font. What type of font would be used. Then she has a color scheme. And this is not necessarily the color, you know, the purpose of the chart I was showing you earlier was so that you had a theme, right? A color theme. which would be different than this. This is sort of a list of the colors, and in fact, you'll notice the colors. She's included the hexadecimal values, right? Right. Include your hexadecimal and a sample of what the color is. These are, of course, Wikipedia's gray color scheme, a theme, and she has a blue accent. And then she talks about the current logos and how she would convert them into more of a flat black and white design. As you can see, she redesigned the current logos. And then, of course, her final design concepts in full color, or gray in this case. And of course, she puts it into the computer screen and onto there as presentation-wise. And then a color option. I'm not sure if I like the typography here, but we're going for it. And then some final design comps. And so this would be the new Wikipedia kind of look with a single column layout, proved to work best for reading content. You got your hamburger menu and another menu. I don't know what the hamburgers were actually the other properties in Wikipedia, not necessarily the one that you're currently on. So she shows how the menu would be. Oh, I guess it is that. I don't know. And then peer review is where you have somebody review your design and give you feedback. So I thought this was a good proposal. It was kind of, we're going to go through stuff like that in class as we go along the next couple weeks. At this point, what I'm thinking that you should be doing today is, and I'll give you the question, so, these kind of question and research and competitive analysis, you should start thinking about, like I said, taking screen grabs of other designs, what is working, what is not working, what kind of designs, concepts you would include in your new design. That's what I would start thinking about right now. Let's look at one more. Again, I really like this one too as well. This was a kiosk for Caltrains. This student really didn't like Caltrains. I really want this to be in, hold on, I have to try and open this in, oh, really? Here it is. In Acrobat. I hate that preview. Yes. Okay, so this one was a redesign of the Caltrains interface. And of course, they write an overview, table of contents, what is the kiosk and how and what it's lacking. Oh, he has it on. Okay, the student has it on a slideshow that's going by itself here. Let me try again here. How do I get this full screen without going by itself? How do I get full screen? Full screen mode? And so she did this stuff in Illustrator. So here's the original photo. You can take pictures. Oh, it's gonna go by itself no matter what. Whatever. It's gonna go by itself no matter what. Sorry, it's on the slideshow. But she made, a concept of what, and then she did some research into other train. This is the one from Europe. This is Milan, I believe. Yeah. No, it's not it. This one? One of them, she was in Europe. She took some pictures. And then, of course, there's the personas. And then some more inspiration. Yeah, here's the one right here. This one. Yeah. That's the one from Milan. And then this one. Her drawings. and then her wireframes of what the kiosk would look like, color scheme with fonts, um, and then the final design ideas and why. And so you can see a variety of options. And then in this design, we talked about marketing and how to market it. And that was it. So, I thought that was a good example of a design proposal. And then the last one here. This I think we do in preview. Okay, this one is for a app. This is for a camera app. This proposal, these students wanted it to be more of, kind of citizen journalism. That's why it's called Citizen J. Make the J for journalism, where you can go and shoot video and pictures in your community and upload here, and other people can go and see what's happening, right? So, citizen journalism. And, oops, how can I not go to the next page? I guess I have to scroll. What is the problem? And they didn't write very much, as you can tell. I'd like you to see a little bit more writing. This is very visual. And, of course, the reason why is because all these mass media is censored. And so they write the problem statement. Why? Interview questions. Again, I'll provide you reading about what kind of questions you ask. But as you can see, these are basic questions that you would ask any person that you're trying to come up with ideas with. Who is your audience? What is your theme? And so on. Business questions. Logo ideas for this one. Font ideas and color. Drawing of the interface of the app and how it would flow. Digital wireframe. And then they took pictures. So we were doing, in this class, we were doing paper prototypes, where you actually use either post-it notes or something to show the flow of how somebody would go through it. And we took a picture. This is a picture of that when we were doing it in class. So I'll talk about that next week actually as well, how to do what we call a paper prototype. And so and then again, more personas, social marketing strategy, and then here's the wireframes. And actually, this was a full working version. This student went into Xcode and actually made a working prototype. So what you're seeing here is actually in Xcode, and it's been programmed. It wasn't a full functioning thing, but you were able to click from screen to screen to screen. And those of you who might know Xcode might want to do it, but again, they have their icons in there. They have, examples. You can see this way. It was just a simple prototype. We will make prototypes, and you can either do it in Sketch. You can do that where you take your designs and you can put hotspots on there so you can go from screen to screen with transitions, right? You got transitions in the prototype as well. So, you really should start thinking about those things now. What I mean by that is if you start thinking about how your design is going to work, you can plan it a little bit better. What is the transition you're going to use, and so on and so on. And I think that was the last screen there for this proposal. So those were a couple. I have more from last semester. The one I think Vicky did was really good. I think I showed you that as well. Where's her proposal? It's here somewhere. Do you remember the name of hers? Oh, the final, huh?
It might be in the folder Art to Print.
Oh,
Interface design. The PDF one.
I was going to do the keynote one.
Okay.
So this is one from last semester by Vicky. If you don't know Vicky, she was a student from Vietnam, right? And she has been working here at the campus. She works in she worked in the graphic design department here as a student intern. So she has a little bit of background. Um, her overview was, of course, an app. Oops, it's going. It's. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done the keynote one. And then should have done the PDF one. And so here's hers. Do Good. Do Good is an iOS application that provides volunteer finding services for both volunteers and recruiters. So she thought, I think one of the challenges that high school students go through, right, is for their college application, you got to show some kind of volunteering, right? And so, in order for you to volunteer, it's hard for a high school student to find out where they want to volunteer and things like that. So she saw this as an app where, hey, you have an opportunity for people to volunteer. You're a high school student, you need to volunteer somewhere. People that have opportunities can list them there, and you can post your stuff. So that was her idea as far as an app. And so and she was working with people all around the world, wasn't she? I think she was sharing things using Sketch. There is a way to share your design with other people in real time, and then you can actually draw on it. And so you could be collaborating with somebody at a distance and looking at the design on the screens both at the same time using a Sketch plugin. InVision, I believe it is. I think we have that plugin. Actually, no, it's it's a web-based plugin. And of course, she has her personas. And then here's her wireframes. Color ideas with hexadecimal values. Gotta love the FFFFFFFF. And of course, font ideas. And then she had some prototype peer review, and so on. So that was a good one from last semester, last year. I don't remember the other ones we have. So these are all listed underneath theme concepts on the website on Canvas, kind of down below here. Okay, let's look at where we can find design ideas. I think last class I kind of talked about how you could just do a Google research, right? But another website that has design concept ideas is this one. It's called Pattern, or PTTRNS, Patterns, PTTRNS. Basically, it's going to show you screen grabs of existing designs. They have them in categories as far as apps and so on. I don't know if this is web design or just strictly apps. But if you have, let's say, what are we trying to do? A calculator or a calendar app, you can click on there and it'll show you certain samples. some food apps. Yeah, I guess this is basically geared towards app design, and it's this one, pttrns.com. And so again, they have things in categories over here, so you can look at categories, walkthroughs, and so there's some example designs. They also have by tags over here. How about alien? Let's see that one. Alien? Is that an alien? I don't know. Dark? Fun? Native looking? Oh, I guess. So there's a whole bunch of different options, and then you can see back in time too. I like, hey, let's see what it was like back in 2012. Nothing was there in 2012. It doesn't look like 2012 to me. Look, you got your emojis, your design. So, you should start thinking, oh, who's doing Snapchat? There's your Snapchat logo. What's your Snapchat? So again, it was pttrns.com. And, yeah, I have some web design sites. I just don't know where they're at right this moment. Does anybody have one they want to share? Web design concept site. I mean, we could go to the Webby Awards. Ooh, Webby Awards 2019. Let's see who won the Webby Award. So there is a contest called the Webby Award that promotes the best websites, gives awards out for the best websites. I guess we'd have to look at 2000. What did I click on? Let's go to 2018. Winners. Okay. Best website. The Bayou Bridge Pipeline. The Bayou Bridge Pipeline. Yes, I don't know about that one. School website. Afghan women musicians. Oh, we're in activism, that's why. A different category. Can't get out of here. Stuck. I don't know. I guess you can find some nice samples on here. It's kind of difficult to use this website because I really don't know what it's where to click. Winners. Web. Their menu doesn't stay up. I'm stuck in activism. There's a website with a tree on it. Okay, I don't know how to use that website. Sorry. But hey, it might be there. Okay, so let's spend, so hopefully, if you look at some of the samples, what I'd like you to do from now and next week is start taking your screen grabs, maybe start thinking about a theme. I would like to see sample art. I'd like you to see progress each week towards a final goal. Again, the final goal would be kind of what you saw in those previous proposals. And we'll do things together. We'll do the personas together. We'll do digital wireframes together. We're going to start, making those things, and we'll do those together. Okay, so don't stress about, oh boy, that looks like a lot of work. Well, it is a lot of work, but, it should be something that you do over time as well.